I want to turn now to CBS News Congressional correspondent Nancy Cordes, who's in Metairie, Louisiana. Nancy, a short time ago, Senator Cassidy held a town hall there in Metairie. What'd you see?
Well, it was extremely intense, Vlad, and I know we've seen intense town halls across the country, but these constituents came in ready for a fight, and they were shouting him down even before he got into the room. He was a few minutes late, and so they started going up to the podium, expressing themselves. One woman was crying, talking about the fact that a family member would not be able to get covered by insurance if the Affordable Care Act was no more. And they were shouting, "Do your job." They were very concerned that perhaps he wasn't going to stay for the entire allotted hour. And once he got here, it was really a sort of a battle of wills. He was determined to get through this 9-page PowerPoint presentation that he had prepared on his replacement plan for the Affordable Care Act, and they just didn't want to hear it. They said, "We know your plan, or we can go to the web to read more about it. We want to talk to you and express to you our concerns about repealing the Affordable Care Act, or about President Trump's agenda, or about the White House and its possible ties to Russia." And so he said multiple times, "Look, if you don't listen to me, we're not going to have a very productive conversation." And they said, "Well, if you don't listen to us, then you're not doing your job." And it just kind of escalated from there. They were extremely angry. At the end, I spoke to him. He seemed pretty upbeat. He said it was a lot of fun, but I can tell you, Vlad, that a lot of the people in this room didn't seem to find it that fun.
Yeah, and it's very interesting, Nancy, because Senator Cassidy, as you point out, does have a replacement plan for the Affordable Care Act, known as Obamacare, but it sounds like he wasn't able to talk a whole lot about it. And I wonder, there have been several instances of lawmakers that are skipping their town halls, and they've been trolled by none other than Hillary Clinton on Twitter. She wrote on Twitter, "If you can't stand the heat, get out of the Congress." But lawmakers, in many instances, are facing the music. How do people feel right now about the way that they're handling this?
Well, you know, it's a real catch-22. Either you hold a town hall and you get a drubbing from your constituents, many of whom say that they are simply afraid of some of the things that President Trump has said or has done so far, who say that they really weren't political before, but they feel the need to speak out. And while there's no sign that they're necessarily in the majority, you do have a cadre of voters who feel very strongly about this. If you don't hold a town hall, then you're kind of like, you know, putting the stopper on the bottle, and the pressure is growing inside that bottle. And if you do eventually hold a town hall a month from now or 2 months from now, it's possible that the outcry could be even more intense. So that's one of the considerations that these Republican lawmakers are making as they determine whether to hold these town halls or not. It's so interesting to see what they decide. You've got someone like Tom McClintock in California who had such a contentious town hall last week that he had to be escorted out by police. But guess what? He did another one yesterday, and it was just as contentious as the one the week before. Will he get brownie points from his constituents for walking into the lion's den, so to speak, and doing that town hall? Certainly, that's what he's hoping. And that's what someone like Bill Cassidy here in Louisiana is hoping as well. Because while on one hand, President Trump won this state by a whopping 20 points, so you would think Cassidy's got a nice cushion here in the state and can afford to lose some Democratic support. This state also has a Democratic governor. It also had a Democratic Senator, Mary Landrieu, not that long ago. And so he knows that he can see big swings in this state, and he does have to listen to what both sides have to say.
CBS News Congressional correspondent Nancy Cordes. As always, Nancy, we appreciate it.